Trump and Elon's broken bromance, which has spiraled into yet another all-out war. Just before Trump's signature Big Beautiful Bill was due to pass the Senate, Musk posted on X that he would challenge any Republican who voted for the bill in the next primaries. Then he upped the stakes even further, saying he would create an entirely new political party called the America Party to rival the Republicans if the bill passed. Trump hit back at Musk, threatening to pull billions worth of contracts and subsidies that Musk's company receives from the US government.
He's upset that he's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things, but he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon.
Now, I understand Elon is concerned about levels of government spending. Last year, the US spent more on interest payments than on defense. But Trump does have other election promises to fulfill, and the bill contains the largest tax cuts in American history. It allocates billions to finishing the border wall. It's going to hire 10,000 new ICE agents and fulfill a raft of other election commitments, all while making $1.6 trillion in savings. So when you look at that on the whole, I mean, is this just another case of another person contracting Trump derangement syndrome?
Look, I just always saw this as two alpha males, and it was never going to end well. You knew at some stage in the game one ego was going to get taken over by the other ego. I think when it comes to the Big Beautiful Bill, though, Elon has got a significant issue with it in the sense that a lot of the green subsidies are going to be removed. A lot of that money that was going to things like solar EVs, of obviously which Tesla was a significant benefactor of, there are going to be great cuts there. So, I think there's a little bit of posturing, a little bit of chest bumping, a bit of, I'm not going to back down first. But I think when it's, it's getting to the rhetoric of, I'll deport him, I must say, setting up the new party, I almost got flashbacks to how we've had some of those things happen in Australia when billionaires don't get their way, so decide to set up their own party. Doesn't tend to go very well in the long run. But, when he says, I'm going to set Doge on him and, the monster that might eat Elon, I don't know. I've just got this vision of the Cookie Monster coming out with his sort of, going back.
Eating all the Teslas.
Eating up all the bills that he wants to get rid of or something. I don't know. That's where my mind went.
It is the thing is, every zookeeper knows, you don't put two male lions in the same cage. You don't put two bulls in the same paddock. And again, it was always going to happen. But I think it actually also, it sort of exposes the strange, and again, I'm not anti-Trump. Some of the crazy stuff he does clearly works, like in Iran. Obviously, I'm not fond of the tariffs, which is other crazy stuff that is crippling the world economy. But it just goes to show what a strange grab bag of ideologies the new Republican Party is. And I think it also exposes a bit of hypocrisy on the right where, they bang on and on about, the country's not living within its means and the deficit's too high and you're wasting all this money on interest payments, but we still have to have tax cuts no matter what. And so, well, which is it? Clearly, money is a zero-sum game ultimately. You have to make sacrifices. Then you'll say, all right, well, we've got to cut wasteful spending. We can't have the government handing out, say, all these subsidies. But who's the guy in charge of cutting all the wasteful spending? The same guy who's getting the government subsidies for his EV business. And suddenly he doesn't like that anymore. So I think it's just, I'm not sure if there's a real sort of strong, cohesive policy narrative in the Trump-Musk administration.
Yeah, I think if you look at Trump, though, when you look at what he is investing in, whether it's the border wall and what he would see as the ICE agents and working on that illegal immigration front, what he's done with regards to the trade around fentanyl and the opioid epidemic, I think, he would look at some of that are going to be cost savings into the future as opposed to what the original cost is going to be.
And the bill bill does contain, and this is where I don't really understand Musk's argument, because the bill does contain $1.6 trillion in savings. And when the bill was rated by the White House, there are a few different ways bills are rated, or with different measurements, of course, as economists love to do. But they're also not taking into account the revenue raised from all the tariffs. So when you actually look at the full economic picture of Trump's policies, I mean, it's been a remarkable success despite what all the economists have been saying about the tariffs.
Yeah, except tariffs are like, they're kind of like the Greens plan to just put, tax billionaires. The target doesn't just say, if you say, right, I'm going to point my gun over at you and I'm going to shoot you in the head, and that means you're going to be dead. That person isn't going to just stand there. So if you go after billionaires, for example, I have no personal experience in shooting people in the head, but the point of it, if you target someone and they know that you're coming for them, what are they going to do?
They're going to move their money back into the US.
They're going to move their money elsewhere. That's right. So if you're talking about Trump raising money from tariffs, well, it may just be that the countries just simply stop trading with the US as much.
But I think he's seeing it as reinvigorating American industry, creation of jobs and bringing the work back to America.
I think once you see the cost of making a car in America, and I know it is a big problem compared to making a car in Mexico.
Well, there are some things that you literally can't make in America, like smartphones, which they're discovering. But other things, there have been billions and billions and billions of dollars of commitments from companies bringing manufacturing back to the US. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But Trump also took a tour of Florida's newly built Alligator Alcatraz. This is a camp for illegal migrants surrounded by an alligator-infested swamp. That should deter a couple runaways. But while he was there, Trump made this hilarious comment.
Note that this is air-conditioned facility, so if any of the news claims they're keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here,
To be honest.
or 72.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here.
Now, we laugh, but it is true that Trump was targeted in an unprecedented way. He was the first former president to be indicted on criminal charges. He had to fight 4 criminal cases while Biden was president, and he was potentially facing a life sentence if convicted. And now he's seemingly prevailed as the ultimate underdog. It's pretty incredible.
Look, that whole tour was just magnificent. I mean, it was just beautiful. I don't know if you've ever been to Florida, but I was there 21 years ago, and we were in this gated community and there was a lake there, and literally when you walked out, you weren't allowed to go too far down on the lawn because there were just alligators that would come out, and it's an extraordinary place, and I think it's incredible when you look at where they've got it. The costs of actually containing people there are very small because if anyone escapes, they've got a very limited lifespan after that.
Well, it's like Alcatraz. The original Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay was surrounded by shark-infested waters. Yeah, that's right. But with sharks in it, that's the scary part. I'll take my chances with the water. I won't take my chances with the sharks. But did you know, fun fact, alligators can't eat adult humans. They actually can't. Yeah, they can't. Alligators.
What do they do with them?
Well, that's good news.
They don't eat them. They can't kill them.
You might be mauled to death, but you won't be fully
No, you don't get mauled. No, they can only eat like things that are about as big as your kind of fist. Like they eat little turtles and stuff. So any detainees, go for it. Take your chances.
I think it's the pythons that are a worry there too.
Many
I still
worries.
wouldn't be doing it. I'd feel just like the look. And crocodiles, obviously, very different story. If you're watching this in the NT, they're very, very different.
Well, meanwhile, former MSNBC host Joy Reid compared the detention centre to a modern-day concentration camp.
To forget about him, but Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up brown people, and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. Surprise, surprise, the economy of Florida is going to be severely harmed by rounding up brown people.
Concentration camp, rounding up brown people? I mean, seriously, when will the Democrats understand that hyperbolic comparisons of Trump to the Nazis is not only deeply offensive, but it also weakens their own argument because it's so absurd and obviously untrue.
But also, what is the comfy couch group? I still don't know. I don't understand what that. I mean, maybe it's an American term. I don't know what that means. But
Does she mean that he was comfortable while they were all suffering?
comfy couch? I don't know. Maybe they've got king furniture. I don't know. But you know, it just seems very strange that something that's air conditioned, a brand new facility. We know what occurred in concentration camps. To even draw those parallels is just disgusting, and just it is so dismissive and undermining of what the Holocaust actually was. And you know, but this is why the woman was fired.
And this is for illegal migrants. The Holocaust was about genociding innocent people, like a fundamental difference.
I mean, clearly she has no understanding of what concentration camps are or the Holocaust. I mean, the truth is, concentration camps and what we see as, you know, what we remember as the death camps, places like Auschwitz and Buchenwald and those kinds of places are actually kind of two different things. Like the first concentration camps were actually introduced by the British in the Boer War at the beginning of the 20th century, and they did terrible things. But they were basically rounding up the farmers, the Boers in South Africa. They were fighting and sticking them all in a camp in a highly concentrated way. Hence the term concentration camps. And so, I don't know what Joy Reid is talking about, but in a sense, like at a purely, well, yes, when you take a whole bunch of people and you round them up and you detain them, almost by definition that is a concentration camp because there are lots of people concentrated there. If she is actually trying to make some kind of analogous comparison
reference
with Nazi death camps, which I suspect she's probably trying to do, as opposed to just state the obvious.
And the fact she follows on with the brown people.
Then that is clearly utterly brown people and Elon Musk. So you know, it could be both. He could be in there anytime now.
Yeah.
But that is just absolutely disgraceful, and I think fundamentally misunderstands what the Holocaust was and the purpose behind it.
Yeah, I find the endless comparisons that Democrats keep trying to draw with the Nazis just repulsive.